the more self-assured I become, the more joyful I become. I believe it's the true path. And the more joyful I become, the more I realise that success isn't about needing to add other things in. It's actually about understanding that you already have tremendous power in your hands already. And I actually had a very vindicating dream in this direction last night. And there were lots of different parts to it, and it involved quite a few people that I'd worked with. And the main part of it actually, that was it was almost a little bit like Inception. This particular theme was running throughout all of the various sections, and it was in the dream. My sister had asked me to carry some rare gemstones somewhere for her. But this thread, actually, the gemstones thing, is all about my ex-boyfriend, because he was quite unhealthily obsessed with with gemstones and didn't give a shit about people. He was on the fall downs, and he was sort of in love with inanimate objects. And at the beginning, when my sister placed these gems into my open hands, and I had gloves on so that they wouldn't sort of jiggle about all over the place or get lost, what it appeared as was that I had, just a handful, tiny little, 2 or 3 little gems in my hands. But at the end of the dream, as I was transporting them to their right and proper place, which is very, very satisfying to me, place for everything and everything in its place, when I actually offloaded the diamonds to where they should be, this huge stack of them fell out, and I woke up. This is the last part of the dream that I remember. I woke up feeling incredibly abundant and putting everything back into its place. And it just made me realise that we're sitting, all of us, we're sitting on experience and wisdom that we could be using for so many fantastic ends. Just whether it is wealth building, amassing resources to actually do really, really good things for ourselves, for our loved ones, for our nearest and dearest. But also, if you think about one person, okay, like me, we're walking around in the world. Well, how are you most useful in the world? And you think about it, there's very little that's more purposeful than being joyful, because I, as an individual, will move around, and you see twigs that have fallen, putting them back in their place, so that they can grow and prosper. One person interacts with a huge amount of people every single day, and if you imagine all those people, even if it's just momentary, interacting with somebody who's in a really good mood, who's purposeful, whose life has meaning and joy and peacefulness, well, it means that one person's, my life, your life, impacts many and spreads really powerful, positive joy. And to me, that's got to be a good thing. And when you actually talk about this in public, it's quite extraordinary just how much resistance you get to it. So, oh, you're just burying your head in the ground and things are really terrible and they couldn't be worse and we live on this terrible planet. And I just think, no, that's not true. It's just not true. We live in a gloriously abundant world. And yes, I do live here. I do. And these trees are wonderful and the landscape is wonderful, but there are plenty of people from literally all across the world who get on planes and in trains and in cars to come to these very magical spots, and they appreciate the beauty of it. Maybe they do it in a little bit more of a hurry. But this is interesting. Since I've since I've started to actually relax into my own skin, when I'm queuing to go around Chatsworth House every Friday morning, more and more people, and it happens basically every time now, more and more people are saying, oh, and the thing is, have you been here before? I said, yeah, I come every week, and I explain, how I go there and how often, and obviously that I love it. They said, oh, which is the best bit? Which bit would you recommend? Which is your favourite part? Because they want to get some insider knowledge, they want to get some wisdom. Because to me, knowledge is actually stuff that you've experienced yourself. Anything else is sort of hearsay and guesswork and assumption. And I say, well, the thing is, I sort of make the joke each time, saying, well, it's kind of like asking which is your favourite child. But what I actually try and impart now, rather than a specific room or a specific thing, although I do sort of in passing mention those things, I said, just try as much as you can, because I know there's a huge amount and you can't really do it in one go. Just try and take in as much as you can in each room, and do it really steadily. Don't be in a hurry. Spend as much time in there as you can and try and take as much of it in. Do it peacefully. And I think it's really good advice for anything in your life, that we assume that hurry and speed are progress, and often we miss all of the best details by racing around. And the more calm and collected that I become, and the more relaxed in the actual process, well, what actually happens is I create more peaceful and meaningful connections with people. And I think that's the whole point, frankly. The real beauty in the world is connection with yourself, with others, with your surrounding, and appreciating that there is an absolutely immense and endless, vast beauty and abundance in this very world that we live in. So as much as you can, immerse yourself where you are, and be as understanding and as sympathetic as you possibly can be at whatever's going on, so that you can actually live as peacefully and as well as you can. That is my firm belief as to why we are all here. Make love, not war.